Okay. What? Wait. What? Why are you open? No. Stop. Yeah. All right. Yep. Everything's working. Okay. Perfect. All right. So yeah, one here, stretch here, and then of course the little stretch there. Gotcha. Let's do one last scope through. Make sure I'm not crazy. Let's get the road in Calum here. Sorry, Keelam. Keep making that mistake. I keep making that mistake. Will admit I am not very good at keeping up on that. Good to see you, Nick. Ooh. There you go. Okay. Come here. There we go. Yep, okay. Alrighty, there we go. Now we can move on. Oh my god, you're still going. Appreciate the commitment to the bit. Yeah. Yeah, thought so. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. All normal. It's funny too how these don't have the same, what do you call it? The same corruption by the rot as the tiled ones they do, right? Like it's super obvious looking at the differences. This one doesn't have the same dirtiness to it either, hilariously enough. All right. That covers all of that for us. Drowning Star, what's that like, you? Man, I feel like I'm drowning in all these screenshots, that's for sure. I bet I could live on the sun if I drank sunscreen. Man, one day we'll have to test that hypothesis with you, Emmanuel. Just go at night. Yeah, that's the safest way to do it. Just go live on the sun at night, duh. Mm-hmm. I don't think they show any of the street stuff. Yeah, they just show the ruins. right. Let's actually do Deep Root Depths first. There we go. Is BGM too loud, by the way? I don't know. I wasn't testing with this one. It sounded really quiet at first, but maybe it might be getting too loud now. But then I'll reach the moon. Well, shit. I got nothing for that. I can't help you there. Why the hell is there? I swear. There we go. There we go. Speaking of sun, is it possible the fell god is the sun? The eye looks like a real shot of our sun. The giant Loki above calls his god, and the furnace golems depict a horn set. Yeah, it's possible. There's also the oh, didn't mean to do that. Sorry there. There's also the overlap between obviously the fell god's association with the sun and the Elden Ring's association with the sun. I guess we could say Gold's association with the sun. So there's kind of that at play too. Like there's like this competing thing. It's like, no, I'm the sun, right? Which brings us right back to Dark Souls. So this is it's all a cycle, Chad. It's all just one big circle in the There we go. Anyway, ooh, there we go. You just not destroyed. Oh, I never, You don't realize how big this cavern is. Which is so funny to me because... Right? So they let it where you can theoretically see all the way to over here. But the funny part is... like, Deep Root Depths can't be that big. Or at the very least, they're really playing with the depth here because we're on the plateau. We're at one of the taller areas in there. And we don't go that deep underground. I'm pretty sure Deep Root Depths is basically located inside the actual plateau mound. So we're not in the lowlands where we could actually see an underground cavern stretching that far. Like, this land would stretch over the ocean, so take that as you will. Either we're a lot deeper underground than our travel distance would suggest, or the devs don't actually intend this cavern to be that big. It just so happens to be for, you know, dramatic effect. Yeah, oopsie, I destroyed you again. My bad. I keep doing this very casually. Sorry, I must have missed the notification. No problem, Xavier. Howdy. It's really not a big deal. Really. What I break this time? Oh, whatever. Not looking that direction. Yes? Just want to see if anything else important would load in or something if we stretch it. There we go. If that there were to hold water, where would that lead the worshippers of the Sun Realm? Well, there are giants in the Sun Capital. That's why there's all the snakes. The snail snakes with the giant skulls they have for shells. Right? You might even be able to make a case that the mixture of big and small graves with the Sun Capital sign is indication of giants being buried at the capital as well, in the battle with against Godfrey. Yeah, I've talked about this extensively between some of the analyses, but to kind of clarify, we have evidence of giants here at the Sun Capital, right? Where Leyndell... Oh, I did not mean to do this. Where Leyndell now sits. We also know that the reason for coming down seems to be due to interest in Gelmir. We, of course, see the giant spirit skeleton that gets summoned by the Mariner in Wyndham. In the Sage's Cave, of course, we have Garrus, basically gathering the bones for more snail snakes. And keep in mind that when you kill the snail snake in his boss fight, a new one like crawls its way in from the cave up above, so they just come in infinitely. So we can at least make the assumption that he's got a bunch of them. And of course we know the snail snakes, of course, are on Gelmir because we have living ones, right? So giants, so basically they're giant skeletons that are either underground, deep, or whatever, all around, definitely around here on Gelmir. As I've also pointed out, we have evidence of giants coming down with their pets from the mountaintops, which they brought from Caelid, namely the giant land squirts. And they end up obviously leaving those behind because there seems to have been a giant hunt, which was conducted here, likely by the Erdtree forces with permission of the Carians to come in, clear out the area, which is also likely how Marika/Radagon knew about the secret passageway, which could then be used during the Liurnian Wars so they can surprise attack the Academy. So we have lots of evidence of giants. Also, of course, Dominula and stuff. You have like a giant skull on like the bones and stuff there. So again, you could... Some of these, again, you could say, is it true fire giants? Is it trolls? Like, there's a lot of sort of ambiguity there on how much contact with actual fire giants is there. But it was definitely enough that Marika and crew understood that, hey, we could develop these incantations to resist them and stuff. You know, the big fire incantations. The fire monks end up, you know, kind of establishing themselves around and things. So all of that kind of gives us a sense that there's a lot here. Interest in the green crystals, interest in the red crystals on Gelmir, potentially interest in Old Altus Tunnel down here and stuff like that. So this area, and by extension this area, because these are the two major points from this area that giants would be coming down interesting. So they would be interacting with both the farm colonists, the Gelmir pagans, or sorry, the snake pagans, and the Sun Capital pagans. So if there's this idea that they worship the sun and the Fel God is at least sun adjacent, you could definitely see why there would be interest and, you know, what's the word? Not synchronicity. Synergy, I guess we'll say for now. I don't think that's the word, but basically, you know, there's a lot going on between those two cultures that could play nice. Now, another question that this idea of the Fel God being the sun or something to that effect is which sun, because there may be multiple. We have this idea of the eclipsed sun, which we know has happened at least once before because Miquella was able to successfully test case a wandering, maybe not necessarily mausoleum, but he was able to test case the ability of having the guardians, what was her name, Latenna? No, Lulet? Oh, I can't remember what the hell her name was. What was it? We have the spirit ashes for her. Lutel, I think it was, right? Anyway, so we have evidence with like Lutel or whatever, that this, of course, there was a success case with this, and so a sun did eclipse, which is why Miquella seems to have zeroed in on this. The problem is we don't get any other sun eclipsing, and obviously all this has to happen after the Fel God, at the very least, has been I don't know, weakened on Earth with the death of so many of the fire giants or what have you, right? So it's a little questionable if there's exactly one sun or if there's a bunch more suns. What does that mean for the different suns we might see in different areas? Like, is there a different sun in Farum Azula than what we see in Limgrave versus what we see in Liurnia? Is it like the moons in that way? Right? So I have questions, and so that makes me kind of raises my eyebrows about what we should be thinking about when it comes to the sun. But again, that's neither here nor there for what we're doing right now. Loki, Avengers Doomsday is gonna be crazy, bruh. I mean, yeah, it's gotta be crazy. They gotta do something to like salvage where the MCU is right now. Isn't that right? Doom diplomatic outfit seen at Disney event. Plot leaks just being confirmed again and again. It's holy. I'm glad that you guys are well, at least you're looking forward to it, no, Bray. Oh, there we go. I'm hopeful this will just be a good reset for them. It'd be funny if there's actually a bunch of driftwood and he just steps on it. Stupid mausoleum. That would be funny. There we go. Let me get closer. I'll be honest, I thought I took lots of shots. Like, I could have swore I took shots of like stuff like this, but I may be crazy. I just may be crazy, and I did not do any of this. All right. Not seeing anything else pop up in the distance or anything, so I think we did good. That gauge. Yeah, I like this better. All right. Do you guys have something to tell me? Did you just like shiv one of your boys or something? Did he look at you funny? Oh, this is a really good one. Ah, man, this one's peak. Oh, we have this. We have the little trunk there in the corner. Doom will be a wolf in sheep's clothing type of character. I'll be honest, I think the biggest problem they have is that they're trying to stuff in so many references to get people into seats to save their goddamn next generation. That I don't know how much time they're actually gonna be able to dedicate to Doom. Like, this is gonna be a really cramped film, I get the feel. If Doomsday's any good, I'll sell my soul to Marvel. I'm sure there'll be things to like. And that's the only thing I will say with certainty. Well, Nick, all I have to say is get yourself some new trousers. All I can say to that. Maybe some earplugs. Brand New Day is not, here's the thing. Brand New Day is Sony. Let's be honest. Spider-Man is Marvel's break this in case of needing emergency funds. Like, that's it. And it's literally just Spider-Man. As we see with Sony trying to like do like Venom and Kraven and like all the other, like, you know, Rogues Gallery and stuff like that. It just ain't working. It's literally just Spider-Man. People really like Spider-Man. It's like Batman or Superman. Though I guess, you know, James Gunn's somehow made that not work. But the point is that like, you know, Sony's getting a huge chunk of that They're getting a fair share. It's not helping Marvel as much as you'd think. What they need Doomsday to be is the perfect reset where people will be interested enough into whatever's coming next in the MCU when they're doing the hard reboot. They need to get people interested. So this is their last Hail Mary. Aw, man. Of course, right then. So we'll see. We will see. Why you gotta make all those noises? Why you gotta make all those noises? All right. Ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum. Yeah, this works. Uh-huh. All right, I think that's a good enough amount to work with. Oh no, wait, what is this holy grail shit over here? Like, god damn, clearly I'm not looking in the right spot. Like, clearly I've been caught lacking. There we go. That should help with the composition. You know what I'm excited for? Fortune's Weave. I'm going to be watching so many Let's Plays of that. And I have to somehow finish first chapter in good enough time so we can get started on second chapter. And I'm so behind on my HSR main story. So much that I want to catch up on. Like I say, chat, one of these days I'm gonna just take like a few months break and just like catch up on my anime backlog, all my other backlogs, my game backlog. Like eventually I'm just gonna have to be like, okay, sorry guys, gonna put the brakes. In your opinion, which lore in ER is narrated poorly / badly? I guess you can say the Melina Words of America thing is kind of clunky, right? Like, it's one of those obvious, oh, you couldn't find any other way to get Words of America out there, so you decided you were just going to kind of shoehorn in this whole, oh, well, you see, there's like, and again, I'm not saying it's like, you know, it doesn't perfectly fit within the universe they've crafted. This is, again, separate from talking about the actual lore, but just the general idea of, you know, all this information being exposited by Melina for the purposes of us characterizing not even really Melina, mostly Merrick. So it's one of those things where I'm like, you know, it's serviceable, but, you know, I would say that's definitely not the best. Gideon in general, like, what the fuck? Like, why, Miyazaki? Why? Like, delete this character? What a worthless sack of shit. I'm not even talking about the whole genociding the Silvers. That's okay in my book. It's the whole, oh, I'm just gonna now narrate to you all this basic information about the different demigods and shit. It's like, no, get this shit out of here. Get this shit out of my Dark Souls. I'm excited for the new Mystery Godwin DLC. Mystery Godwin DLC. Am I missing something? I was seeing Acer respond to someone about something or whatever. Like, is there actually like some big thing with like Godwin or something that's been announced that I haven't heard about? Or are people just coping again? Are they hoping that this time, like the Elden Ring film or the new Tarnished edition is gonna like finally give us that fabled Godwin boss fight they all want? Keep consuming coin. Loki, what specifically makes you a silver phobe? I forgot. Oh no, I thought it was funny because what's the word? Smotown is always like so hung up on like the Albinoric blood clot and like loving the Albinorics and all that stuff. So, so I just thought being like, ah, those goddamn filthy silvers. That's all. There we are. And I know we have the Ainsel River Driftwood stuff, so. It wasn't announced, that's why it's a mystery. May Godwyn boss fight take the world! Yeah, as I've always said, this has always been the weirdest cope to me because it's just so, we have so much goddamn Godwyn stuff in the game. I'd argue maybe a little too much. Like, goodness me, like, thank God they restrained themselves for the DLC. Like, thank goodness. But like, it's just like, we don't need any more. Why do we want even more? Like, there's perfectly enough. Like, holy hell. I wrote an entire thing on just his Prince of Death stuff, and then there's the stuff on Ancient Dragon War and everything between, and all the time, like, goodness me, people, use your brains. Think about this wonderful narrative that's been crafted for you. I beg you. I beg you. I could have swore I saw more blue butterflies. Am I crazy? Chat, I think we've somehow looped around where my first impression, oh, these things are born of water, and then I got really weird because we saw them in so many weird places. I think we've just gone all the way in a full circle back to being like, I think, yeah, they're just associated with water. And the question now is just like, okay, if you see them in an area, you have to ask yourself, what's the water source they're spawning from? Because I got nothing else, that's for sure. Oh, you mean the most important lore item in the game? Yes, that exact one. Am I insane, chat? Did I just like mistake like a falling yellow leaf somehow for a blue butterfly? I could have swore I saw a bunch of them once we passed. I don't think I looted them either. You know, shit like this is where it's like, you know, I should just immediately just check the VOD if I'm thinking I'm crazy, just to make sure. Oh well. If we see it again, we'll see it again. I'm sure one of these days we'll do find every goddamn butterfly in this goddamn game world. Godwyn was the best boy, also fandom. Visceral decided to kill him. Listen, we all know from Souls games that killing bosses is how we bond. You always want to kill your favorite character. A falling leaf. You say I'm told they tell a story. Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, they do. All right, I think that's enough there. I'm gonna cross off Deep Root Depths for this. We got the Driftwood. Next, let's do Lansax. I don't remember if we've killed her on this character, but if so, we're gonna just have to find another one. Maybe it's the game trying to tell you the Elden Ring has been shattered. Wow, chat, that's crazy. That's crazy. I can't believe the Elden Ring is shattered. God, if only someone told me. If only some man in a weirdly suspicious ear and eye attire would tell me how the falling leaves tell a story. Okay, well, I haven't been assaulted from the air with a dive bomber, but no kamikaze! Do you? Oh, right. Oh, for a second, I was like, wait, what? All right, let's get to it. this like a stealth thing? Well, I know one of my characters has this, so shattered by someone or something. Yeah, I don't remember the JP off the top of my head, but I think it was slightly different. All right. Oh, right. You haven't even gone to Altus. Shishinki, my man, my little photographer. Oh, right. Right. There we go. There we are. All right, this one's got to have land sex. Ignore me. Yep. Okay. All right, girl. Girl is wild. Okay, let's try it with stealth though, because I'm pretty sure I had stealth last time that I summoned her. All right, where are you? There you are. Always stealth. I love you. We're gonna take games. You know, we'll take it off when we get close. Also, I should move this so I can actually see both you guys and the screen on my OBS. Beat the boss, Loki. No, I don't like land sex. I don't want to bond with her. Okay, controller, please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. God damn. Get me off of this stupid discount humanity screen. That was a lot faster earlier than I thought. Right. Like, holy hell, girl. Let's speed this up. Yep. Hey, macaroni! Good to see you. All right. Are we going about here? Okay. Here? Oh. There we go. There she is. Perfect! I love it when a plan comes together, chat. Nah. Yeah, let her dive bomb me. We don't want to highlight. We don't want Wyndham to be too much in the focus of this shot, you know? Yeah, it's so much stuff hasn't loaded in at this point, so we want to keep it. Yeah, that's good, I think. No. Keeping it tight in there, yeah. There we go. Only Mike beat that boss. He really showed her his spear, huh? Yeah, all right. Blade is headed for the towers. Oh, in fact, it hits 2 towers, you could say. Look, I'd like to recommend you a game called Sunless Sea. Crazy, deep, intricate, and interesting lore and amazing writing and gameplay. Though gameplay can be boring. Sure, I'll check it out. See if it catches my interest. We're gonna add it to the backlog. Ender Lilies is another one that I've got there, just kind of sitting there waiting for me. Ba-ba. I love how you can see. I just love that you can see, like, just how the Erd tree trunk just keeps going and they just, like, attached a bunch of branches to cover it up. Like, you just see that giant little glow spot above. Like, that is so funny to me. There we go. God. Erd tree, my Erd tree. Iron Spike Spear makes him go crazy. Drives those dragons into a frenzy. They just be frothing at the mouth. You can see the tears in their eyes. Oh, the innuendos just don't end, huh? You know, I can see why people ship it. Then you can see the weird slime mold. Yeah. You can even, yeah. This, I think, is always the coolest part, is just, like, how, like, the gold, like, you can see, like, on the edges, the way it seems to, like, goldify itself, right? To a certain extent, you know? Like, it has to cover itself with, like, these magic vines thing that make it have that golden outer shell appearance. It's very cool. Very neat. Remember, chat, it used to be so bright that you could feel its healing rays upon you. Probably supposed to see that without moving camera. I mean, look up. Again, you can still see the details. It's just, obviously, you have to, like, cut, crop, and zoom in a little bit. Like, it doesn't change that you got that there. Like how it's very obviously this is just a texture for some of these branches. Again, I don't mean to be too hard on the design of the Erd tree. I think it looks really good and stuff when you're just, like, passing it by and looking at a distance and stuff like that, right? Like, you get off and look all the way over here in Liurnia and stuff. It works very well. It's one of those things where, much like a lot of things in From Software's games, you look a little too closely and you're like, okay, I do not need this insight. The kindness of gold and order. Okay, I think that covers that. Oh, where's my character? Hey, yeah, you're that little speck there. All right. All right, cover that little speck and we're good. Hey, Lux, how you doing? They're all dead. Oh, okay. Sorry. Moving on. Hey, Wyndham, how you doing? We're living dead. Oh, okay. That sucks to hear. Moving on. Well, Chet, now we know. She apparently doesn't have a hitbox when she's flying down, because she did not knock down those trees, that's for sure. Oh, Lansax of the earth, what is your wisdom? it looks like she's pulling a basilisk. Like, jeez. It's pretty, yes it is. It's cool they design with this in mind at all. Almost all games until recently were all front-facing, in that none of the hidden detail could be taken seriously in any way. Well, again, the thing I think what happens a lot with From Software, like, it's like when they, like, back in, all the way going back to Demon Souls, and then, like, creating, like, sculpting unique faces for characters and stuff. I think especially because these games are so, like, they're not very lore Bible heavy, as it were, right? It really is something where they really have to kind of, like, feel out what they're getting for a lot of the characters, and it just feels more natural to go to that extra effort for stuff, because you never know what's something that's gonna maybe make it into an item description or something. And sometimes maybe the devs themselves forget about the stuff, right? Like, somebody, they make they see the concept art, Miyazaki approves the concept art, the design gets to go to a model or whatever, that model gets passed around with a few iterations of the narrative to be this thing, then that thing, and the other thing, and blah, 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 right? And then eventually, it ends up getting, you know, everything we know about it, gets whatever relevant item descriptions or something, and maybe some of those design details just get forgotten about. I've talked about this in relation to, what's it called? Oh, what's that asshole called? The brain sucker, yeah. So, like, it happens, right? But still doesn't mean it's not cool and neat, and gives us a good insight into the enemies, or their development process at least, or what have you. There we go. No lie, Acer just threatened to eat my cat. I posted some very cute pictures of him in his animal Discord channel, and he reposted one of his food channel. I see. Acer must be playing Pal World right now. There we go. Oh, no, I agree. It's definitely a cool thing to have. Again, I'm always happy with more data points, right? I will never say no to more data, whether it's internal naming, content, and little enemy details, right? You know, different discarded drafts of item descriptions, right? Like, all the data points help contribute to giving you an overall idea of what the developers were thinking going into the character and where they ended up, right? Like I told you guys the other day with this, I completely forgot. I was like, there's a reason why they have Lansax attack you here beyond just, you know, wanting to, like, they have some justification for her being here, right? And then there was a similar thing with, this here, right, with the pond and all that. So I'm like, there's a reason. There's a reason for this. Let's get rid of the rain. I just don't remember what it was. And I was like, oh, right. I finally put 2 and 2 together the other day. I was like, oh yeah, those two are connected. That's why. Oh, so I'm adding that to Godric, and I want, of course, some. There we go. Some item description. Oh, sorry, not item description. Some reference images to go with it. There we go. And we get the blood roses in the shot too. Wow, it's amazing. Let's see over here. Over here. Yeah, something like this. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. That'll work for our purposes. Yeah, so again, get the reference images for that. Astrologers is almost done. I'm almost through all the screenshots there. So I want to add the stuff for Deep Root Depths. Though that may change. I mean, the Driftwood stuff might get moved over to Nox when that eventually comes. Again, it really depends on how exactly I'm going to be handling the Nameless Eternal City. I know I'm going to include it there, but obviously that's super later in the timeline compared to everything else. So it's always like an awkward little, it's in that awkward little spot for me. That'll do. I think that's fine. I've decided to make the move to self-acceptance and identifying as a consecrated snowfield / mountaintops defender. I'll be honest, I've never understood the hate they get. Like, I guess for people, because they're like, oh my god, I want to finish this game already. Like, I just had the big climactic quote-unquote battle with Morgott, and then you bait me and say there's more to go. I kind of get that. Like, sure. Sure, I mean, not always the most enjoyable situation to be in, right? After you spend so much time playing through and going through all the side content and stuff. But hey, you can't say that the game doesn't let you be able to see all the different biomes. And honestly, I feel like there's still plenty to do in mountaintops between quest lines and stuff, so... Again, for me, I'm a weird case because obviously I was doing so much just kind of exploring around and stuff while I hadn't even finished my playthrough. And by the time that I did get to mountaintops and stuff like that, right? Like I just already kind of like I was in too deep, I think. So I'm not sure if I'm just a good, sample case, but overall, I really can't complain too much. See, that's the thing. I don't think anyone references DS2. In fact, I think most people, it's just a general opinion, not necessarily DS2 players, right? We have to keep in mind, Dark Souls is like yesterday's trash now. Now it's all Elden Ring. No one looks at checkpoints and thinks, oh, that's just like the bonfire. They think, oh, that's just like a site of grace. Which I think is perhaps the greatest tragedy of our age. There we go. I don't think we need shots of the big crabs here. I don't care about you. There we go. What is this, Liurnia? The rain came again? All right, I think it's enough shots, though. I think that gives us plenty to work with. Not as many blood roses as I would think, but then... I should have known. I should have expected as much. There we go. You got that shot, yeah. Not as many blood roses in here. Then again, I wasn't expecting so many blood roses in this lake either. We will burn the graces with our righteous bonfires! Aye! Aye, sire! Aye, aye. Alright, what's on the list? What's next on the list? Pond with crayons, lane sacks on the plateau bridge. Oh, of course! The marionettes! There we go. Sir, can you turn around? Sir? There we go. Thank you, sir. All right. We will now test this out. There we go. All right. Yeah. Like I felt again, I did not mind exploring the mountaintops as much as other people do. I understand it. I understand the feel of like, oh, I have to go through this vast, like, snowy expanse after everything else, right? But again, I feel like this is the problem of you have to pace yourself in these open world games. Like when they told you, oh, we're not going to the Erdtree yet, you should just kind of accept it and kind of like, you know, just kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go do something else, kind of pick this up later, you know. Like, you don't need to do everything, you know, all at once. Just look at me. I somehow managed to get none of it done all at once. Yeah. Anyway, so as I was trying to say earlier, I do wonder if the red hair on marionettes, which obviously would tie back to fire giants, I do have to wonder if it has anything to do with them like stuffing themselves with stuff like these fire pots, right? Because, you know, the flame god in the torso, you pull out an actual fire pot to throw, right? I kind of wonder if that's like the inspiration, at least with the concept art of the design and the idea of you stuffing it. I have to look at their concept art, see if they even include the fire pot there or something. Just kind of interesting little detail I thought I would point out. Yep, here another one. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right, chat. Oh, I'm normal speed. It's so slow. There we go. little bit lower, you know? Yeah, that's good. And then the time of day we'll play with. No, that's, I mean, I do like the contrast of the blues of night with the yellows and the reds. I can't deny. Yeah, like unironically might be the best. Yeah, I think it's actually unironically the best, so we can focus on this and not the Caelid stuff. There we go. Never heard that one before, Nick. Is that a meme, or are we actually being, is there actually something to that? Ba-ba-ba. Nah, other, yeah. Yeah, there we go, baby. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, yep. Screwed it up. There we go. Okay, turned Elden Ring into Pokemon Snap. Gotta catch them all. Yeah. Yeah, the lower was better. Okay. All right, that pretty much is everything, right? Like, they don't got any... Rude! At least he waited. Hey, that wasn't me. Everyone watched that. I watched a murder happen right in front of me. It wasn't my fault, but I will take his power source. Thank you. The joke is they have green shirts and brown pants. Groundbreaking stuff for sure. For sure. All right. I forget. Are there any magic marionettes? Ones that just throw magic stuff instead? Maybe on the mountaintops? I had that written down, but I don't remember if that was actually a thing or if I'm mixing them up with the imps, you know? Don't care about you. Get a better name, Exikes. Yeah, okay. If that's the case, then we just have the golem stuff then instead, if that's it. I think the DLC ones do. Oh, I don't have DLC on there. Okay. Either way, we gotta go back then. Let's go back. Oh, sorry about that. I moved the camera. Sorry, the mic away. I did not realize I was that close. Swing and a miss. Doggo's relaxing right now. So they'd be over here, right? Oh, wait, wrong one. Whoops. I also have the flying ones on Gelmir throw. Yeah, I remember that for sure. I'm pretty sure they carry it physically, too. I remember getting reference images, and I'm pretty sure they just, like, carry it around, too, because they can't fit it inside themselves, obviously. Anyway, outside. So anyway, how they have the bushes here. Anyway, yeah, it's a magic blue pot. Okay. Let's look for a good one. Oh, this one does too. There we go. All right. Let me just double check my screens on this. How much you want to bet that's the magic grater pot? Oh, guaranteed. What else would it be? I'll be honest. Why else would they put that here? Like, they're not giving us the rot pot. It's not even a question. Okay, so I did get one that was a bit lower. Okay, yes, that what we have. Yeah, okay. I might crop these together then. Yeah, I think I think I'm gonna crop them. Just so you guys have a look. Wait, what? That's not the right one. Huh? Wait, is... No, I do have... Okay, I do have two. Okay. Okay. Why is it not showing? Chat, I'm feeling gaslit. There we go. There we go. All right. So I think we'll take this. And then we'll... Yeah, we'll crop it with this. That might also get rid of this guy on the side so we can just focus on the marionettes, right? And then I'll cut it. Yeah. To the fire pot there. I don't need that shot, I don't think. This shot's good. Showing him actually physically pulling him out. Yeah, I think I like that best too. Then yeah, pulling him out, throwing him. Yeah, okay, cool. So that'll be like 4 shots total. I'm pretty sure that gallery for that second half of the marionette section is actually like relatively short. Like I think it's maybe got like 12 or so slides. I have to go double check. So I think it's gonna be too big. I'm gonna say though, chat, when we get to talk about the academy facilities, it was 1 paragraph. I had to stuff it with like 54 images. We have a Boletaria! Boletaria Palace! Oh boy. Okay, now next on... Oh wait, first off. Let's see, how many of these do we got? How many do I got? Clearly not enough. Okay, cool. There we go. Can I craft any more? Wait, I can just do this. Wait. I don't have crystal darts? What? Nani? I guess I don't. I guess I don't. Where do you get the recipe for that? I don't recall if the Academy Sigil shows when they throw or not. For the Great Magic Pot? Ugh. I mean, let me check. Great Magic Pot. Let's look at that right now. No, sorry. Hefty Magic Pot, whatever. Don't care. It doesn't mention the Academy specifically, I will admit. It's supposed to be made by a horn scent, right? Yeah. So it might not. What was the more important thing I was looking for? Oh, right. Crystal Dart Cookbook. You get that from number 11, which is... Oh, of course. I have to buy it, chat. Me, Loki, buying things from shopkeepers. Oh, yeah. Let me guess it's you. I only got 3 options, so one of them's gonna work. Oh, it's probably actually it would be more likely to be at the one in Raya Lucaria, admittedly. Oh, well, that's fine. Even easier. No, yeah. There we go. All right, just keep the leaky roofs clean for a little longer. Nope. Yeah, there we go. Pretty sure that's overkill, but who cares? You know what? Let's just do it. We have all this now. Let's do it. So I never have to worry about this again. If I want to craft something, I can craft it. There we go. That's it for that one. No. No. Oh, I already bought that one. Perfumer. Acid spray mist. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay. Oh my god. Nope. 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 Alright. Alright, and with that, we have everything I could possibly want. Alright, so still doesn't count as that. That's fine. Cool. Alright, chat. Lots of crack crystals used. That should give us more than enough for this. All right, let's go to basic bitch catacomb. The indignity of it all. Yeah, purchasing, reading books. A sorcerer doesn't read. All right. There we go. Sure, I guess. Not the best lighting, being quite frank. Could definitely be better. Oh. That's not what I wanted. Oh. All right, buddy. We'll do it again. Thank God it's basic bitch catacomb. Right. There we go. Oh my. There we go. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Perfect. All right, there we go. All right, you're done. Oh wait, don't you have like a bubble effect when this is on you? Not seeing any bubbles. Oh. Yep, no bubbles. Okay. I'm glad for the play-by-play, Nick. Glad you and Acer's little beef is getting a live studio reaction. All right, now let's go here. All right, now this one is going to annoy the ever-living hell out of me, so... You have to hit the head with this guy, right? Like... Nope. Oh. Huh. Okay. It's just working, period. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. You have to hit them more. It's like a hidden sass effect you build up. Ah, okay. So you're saying I haven't hit these guys enough, so I guess we'll have to go to a high level dungeon so we can hit more. There we go. Okay. All right, there we go. There we go. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. There we go. There we are. All right. All right, there we go. All right, I think that's enough of that guy. Let's go to the highest level imps we can find. Which I imagine is Snowfield. Come on. Oh. Yeah, I guess you work. Eh. Maybe somewhere less. Oh, you're perfect. I love you. I love you. Does it work on Watchdogs too? Can Watchdogs also be affected? There we go. Perfect. Good to know, Nick. I always was wondering who the fuck is buying a health bar. Snowfield fans cheer. There we go. Oh, the lightning is producing the bubbles. Oh. Oh. Well. Oh. That's a good detail to know. Fascinating. The fascinating part about this for me is just how quick this is, even when we're literally at 35% of normal speed, you know? Like we're at 0.30, yeah, 534, very close. And it's still so fast that it's really hard for me to freeze in time to get a good look at it. Yeah, this was fruitful. A Heath bar? Heath bar? I don't know what a Heath bar is. I only know about health bars. What the? Who cares about their Heath? What even is a Heath? I only know Heath Ledger. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot, chat. Damn. Oh, that's a good one. There for before and after. God, that one where it's like a giant string and it creates it though is so much even better, you know? And that was the one too. It's always the one after I give up with the camera work that I see. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to give up. I'm never gonna get it. It's too much work. Or killer lightning, yeah. Or something related to the cosmos, I guess. There we go. No, I think we're good. I think that was what we got was fine. So wait, why does it look like bubbles? Because everything related to stars is connects back to a cosmic sea. Like that's what we have to kind of accept is that some way, somehow. Also, why am I barefoot? Did I take off my shoes at some point? There we go. Some way, somehow, everything ties back to the idea that everything's a cosmic sea. We're one tiny ball of rock in a vast ocean with a dark abyss called the Greater Will. There we go. Yeah, let's actually redo that thing with the other imp. I want to get the shot. Cause what? It's like 2 throws I did, right? There we go. Let's do 2 throws I want to get the reaction when he like does the. There we go. When he first gets hit that way and he starts making that little oh. So I've gotten it with the regular ones, but there we go. That sounds right. Oh, that's a really good one. There we go. There we are. It's a little too much, personally. All right. There we go. So this connects to Clayman somehow, at least in the broad strokes that they have similar connections there. So we have to keep in mind, what's the idea of what is an oracle? An oracle is basically a message from God, right? It's like, hello, divine. I'm looking for some insight, and you get some signs back, right? You're essentially God sending you a text, right? That is the idea of an oracle, right? So the Claymen, really Mudmen, they are effectively trying to communicate with the god. I can't remember if it's explicitly the greater will, but that would be the strong implication. And they're trying to get signs from their god, and this seems to come in the form of bubbles. Now, if we consider the idea that electricity is a manifestation of power ending, of transfers of power across a distance, which turns into the form of you know, an electric bolt, which can shoot across vast distances at incredible speed, and therefore can be used for things, among other things, electronic communication, right? The idea that your nerves and your synapses and all that stuff in your brain and throughout your body are essentially being governed by electricity, helping keep everything moving, communicating, acting as all the different parts together in a whole. Now apply this on a cosmic scale. Again, a good example of this is back in Bloodborne, when the idea is that the Orphan of Kos has a guttural scream, and Kos's consciousness in the cosmos reacts, causing a bolt signifying the connection with her body in the nightmare to shoot down immediately. Like, it's almost as if the dead soul is trying, almost using what connection it has with the body, to like twitch or react, right? Now obviously Kos is dead in both cases, but as we can see, the incredible amount of power of a Great One just responding to that sound the body is quote-unquote hearing from the child causes a massive electric shockwave that ends up emanating out from the body and along the water and all that stuff, right? So that kind of gives you the idea of the power of, you know, communication on quote-unquote Earth, nightmare realm, but you know the idea, and the cosmos. So imagine that with the greater will, and I can kind of see the same idea of using bubbles there, if the idea is that the bubbles are produced by those kind of electric signals. would be interesting then to know if there's any type of dragon bubble magic we could have. Metterstaff does it as well. Yeah. So anyway, the point is that like when we have water things, it's going to be connected close to spirits, souls, stars, and everything else, right? Like for example, we see blue flowers, which commonly appear, yeah, here's a good. They commonly appear on the inside waters, especially around water edges. So, for example, let's go to the Agia lakefront. What do you know? Blue flowers are growing, right? Like all the way to Altus. In fact, you saw it earlier with the pond there, but let's do the other one. Yeah, over here. Microcosm is also kind of bubbles. Yeah, but that's a little different because the idea of the microcosm is it's a mini universe. So that might be more referencing the Globus. Now, maybe there's some overlap and Miyazaki's like, oh, and also the bubbles, and bubbles are like a Globus. So, okay, sure. So maybe that's also there, but like, I don't know as much about the microcosm, right? Because it's literally a mini cosmos. That is literally what it's saying, a miniature universe. Right? Oh, look, blue flowers. Oh, right. So it doesn't matter where you go or any of that jazz. You're going to find that these blue flowers love to get into the waterfront. Hell, even in this water that's been poisoned by all the dead bodies, shows that it also had grown blue flower. All right, there you are. Blue flowers. So yeah. And yet, as we see, yeah, this one. Blue flowers also become very commonplace in areas associated with sorcerers, especially glowing blue flowers. We love glowing blue flowers in this house. Right? There we go. Right? So blue flowers have been adopted as an association with sorcery, but it also has a very clear connection with water. And so we can kind of get this sense of blue, water, the cosmos, stars, the universe, and of course, there we go. We're here. And of course, probably most importantly, I would say, is the blue that we see in the sky, right? So it's all interconnected. Maybe a microcosm in a bubble itself, but it's impossible to know from inside. Yeah, for all we know, chat, we are in a microcosm. The Elden Ring universe is just one tiny bubble in the greater will's thoughts. That's another thing is you'll often see like bubbles and stuff associated with like sleeping and things in like anime and stuff like that. The little like boo boo little like bubble things or whatever with sleep. Monster Hunter is probably my favorite example of this. So that also may be a play, is the idea of dreams and sleep and spirits and all that jazz. Like it's all connected. This is why I think that the blue nascent butterflies are so important in relation to Miquella, because not only does it kind of obviously tell us a bit about the eternal youth thing, but specifically trying to associate it with dreams and sleeping. And that gets me that gets me interested with all the overlaps with all the spirit stuff he does. Again, I'm still not entirely sure what exactly the root of Miquella's curse is. Because it does seem to be so abundance coded as well. You know, plenty versus scarcity of the Scarlet Rot, right? But that may just be kind of adjacent to what his actual core nature is. Anyway, and then like I said, more blue flowers and stuff. Then we go all the way over here, blue flowers and stuff. And finally we get in here and blue flowers with the gold flowers, right? So very clear, very straightforward. I think that it's rather obvious what they're going for. I'm gonna be I think that's the last of the shots, though, I want. Maybe we'll come back for Golem to get his, like, reaction with stuff like that. I might do it on another character, though, because I don't want to deal with this stupid-ass embers! But yeah, so I get the feeling that we're probably going to finish up Astrologers this weekend, and then I'll have it posted on Monday. And the Naivete. The thing is, like, what's a Curse of Naivete exactly? I can understand thematically the idea that, you know, young and naivete, but, like, again, the point of what I'm trying to get at is, like, at its core, what is the intersection that allows Miquella to do all the things that he does, right? With Mesmer and Melina, it's like, okay, I get you. Gold and shadow. You got gold flames, you got shadow flames. And then Melina uses her gold flames in combination with Destined Death to derive Black Flame, right? And she starts using that, and as we can see, can even kind of, what's the word? Harbor some of it herself through her eye. Nope, not at all, Nick. Never heard of it. That is quite the premise, though. The thing with Miquella is that, so he's born young, right? And and from early on, he seems to almost be like a child prodigy. And he gets really into fundamentalism with his dad. But primarily, his interest in fundamentalism and stuff is driven by his desire to help his sister, right? His sister, her suffering, her dilemma, all of that sort of is the first major instance that shapes Miquella's entire life, right? So when fundamentalism, by all of his estimations, fails to help him at all, he pretty much abandons it and he quickly adopts the spirit tree. Sorry, I shouldn't even say spirit tree, the candle tree. The candle tree becomes his sigil afterwards, and all arts, including stuff like his Forever Love Me branches, becomes about that. Now, he doesn't fully abandon Erd Tree or any of that stuff, because as we see, he goes on a pilgrimage with his branches and stuff all the way for Daddy, right? So he does the pilgrimage from Bellum Church all the way down to Church of Pilgrimage down here, right? So he goes the full way. So it's clear he still looks up to and has very much interest in his father and trying to maybe use him as a vehicle to understand himself and his sister, maybe. But it's clear that fundamentalism in itself doesn't answer his problems, and that seems to be in part because we know he gets attached to the pure gold thing, and that seems to be where, like, the idea that, oh, the Golden Order as it is will not satisfy what I need. We need a pure gold order, or as they localize it, unalloyed gold, right? So gold without any of those little impurities and imperfections in it. It is not even the slightest hint of an alloy. He's born young, yeah. But he's born, of course, eternally young, right? So he's never gonna grow past looking like, I guess we could say he's probably still bigger than us, honestly, for that. But, you know, he's never gonna be more than basically a child. A small child, relatively speaking. In the trailer, we see the crazy girl talk about Miquella abandoning his fate, showing Trina falling and Empyrean Destinies becoming God or Triad. It's also Trina was supposed to become the God. Again, that depends on how exactly we define what Trina is. Because the only thing we really have to go off of explicitly is Trina is his love. By discarding her, he discards all of his, I don't know if I want to say, I guess we'll say affections. All of his affections for things of the world, right? He's going to be operating off cold, hard logic. I believe the child model is around our size. Yeah, that's what I would expect. Like he's the way like he's. I think the biggest comparison would be you have to look at Moog and look how big Miquella is in comparison to Moog kidnapping him. Now, I'll be honest, I don't remember how tall Moog is compared to us. Like, would we be able to be cradled in his hand? I don't remember. He's pretty big, though, so I wouldn't be surprised. And Miquella is portrayed as maybe slightly bigger than maybe us, then, if that's the case. That's what the trailer shows with the DLC for... Okay, so what the trailer's trying to get across is just that he's discarding his parts of himself. That's the idea. And they're showing Trina because Trina's obviously the most notable part of himself he's discarding. But the idea is that his entire fate as an Empyrean of gold is tied to his the essence of his being, and he's discarding all those pieces. Now, I don't know if Trina necessarily was counted because it seems to be mostly the physical stuff, but then again, he still has his body in the waking world, so the part of his body he's discarding in the realm of shadow seems to be some sort of facsimile, right? Like, I don't know, it's a bit... that's the part about Miquella that kind of has me scratchy, is like, I guess he's using a pseudo-spiritual body, and the body parts he's getting rid of is like a second physicality of the spirit. Like, that's the part that I find the most head scratchy. Yeah, we don't need anything here. Oh, you know what I could get? Actually, you know, I want to do this without having to worry about the stupid ass. Oh, let's switch to characters. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's just get an overview look at some of the forest and stuff like that, so I can get an idea. Good old Liurnia. Never disappoints, always disappoints. Oh my god. Is Saint Trina perhaps the most sympathetic character in the game? I don't know. I haven't done a deep dive on her, so I don't know. Like, I mean, she's complicit in a lot of what Miquella is doing, so I guess depends on how positively you look upon Miquella's stuff. Because Miquella is supposed to be, like, she's supposed to represent Miquella's love. So all the things he does out of love. So, yeah. You know what? I really like the idea of doing that. Come on. There we go. There we go. There you go, something like that. Mm-hmm. That's another one. Right. Go to Revenger Shack. Honestly, fair point. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Is like Trina's tied to Miquella, and clearly Trina loves Miquella. So I'm not sure there's much protest with all the things Miquella does. So again, depending on how you view that, will say a lot, I think. Oh, and this. Okay, we need to move closer. Ah, there we go. There we go, so... Alright, do that. How did I forget to put this on the list? Because there we go. Alright, there we go. Give that. That's for Karia. Yeah, there we go. I thought that because all Empyreans, aka possible gods, are female, Miquella, the only boy, is still pretty feminine. It makes me think the role of divinity, like Firekeeper, is mostly female. That's what I thought as well. Based on just like, at least thematically, like maybe not a hard and fast rule. But if I'm right, and Mesmer is also Empyrean, I mean, I guess you could say he's definitely got some long, thin legs. That's for sure. He's definitely not the picture of masculinity. That's for sure. He's got my little linky arms, legs. Anyway, so overall, I would probably say that there definitely seems to at least be a feminine bent. But again, that might be more so, if I had to guess, that might be more so part of the theme with having, like, you know, the gods up until now be mostly female, right? I don't know if there's necessarily like, oh yes, it must be women. Maybe. Again, we'll see. We'll see. That's such a deep cosmological question, though. I just don't see any specific reason off the top of my head, at least, why they would want it to be like, why would you need God to be explicitly female, right? Because it doesn't. I get it maybe for like the first, and of course with Marika because of her whole life thing, right? I can understand that. I guess it depends then on Rao. Like, why would Rao's need to be female, right? There we go. Finger maidens must be women. At least that's true. That is for sure. There definitely seems to be a very strong feminine bent to finger maidens, and I doubt that's an accident. Those priestesses have something going on. Yeah. That's a good one as well. All right. That covers that. That's an interesting way to look at it, Mania. I can see that being the possible angle they're going for. Yeah, like I said, these are some of the deep questions that I am currently not in a position to really dissect. But hey, with astrologers done, that's another major part of the timeline, right? Like I said, Nox, Fire Giants. I also have Confessors in the works. Onza will be done. He's a small one though, so he's not really that much of a advancement. Though I feel like I could be going back to Onza and the demi-human swordsman in general in the future, as we get a stronger grasp on what sorcerers are doing out there. We have the shots here. Oh, we have shots there. I know I have shots for that. Okay, cool. This will be whenever we actually talk about the ancient dynasties. Let me just double check here for a sec. Yeah, okay, cool. Did I mention the conifers and Liurnia Wars for this area? I have to. If not, I will have to mention it for sure later. Yeah. Then you have it there. And of course there. That's where we have the young trees start growing down here. Okay. I'm gonna drop things like the damn trolling Caelid. Boom! Alrighty, so I think that covers all the stuff I want to get shots of. That should hopefully be the last time I need to get reference shots for anything related to astrologers. I'm actually really, I'll even show you, chat. I'm actually really happy with the reference images I ended up going with. You guys getting a little behind the scenes look, right? No, let's do browse. There we go. Yeah. You guys can't really see it fully here, but actually, wait. I got an idea. All right, let's preview new tab. Come on, generate. There we go. I know it's like 25 pages or whatever. Like it's a lot, but come on, you can do it. There we go. Even we'll do big browser even. Right. I like it for astrologers. This one I think really sort of captures the feel. You got Raya Lucaria, you got the night sky with all the stars. I like it. So I think this is going to be the winner. I managed to do it without having a stupid glowing golden tree distract from the shot either. So I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, outside of that, we've got, quite a bit here. Everything's there. Do I have all my tags in order? I might be forgetting some, but we'll worry about that later. Noctron, Ordina, Celia, Sevenwater Village, Weeping Peninsula, Liurnia, Nux, Calum, Caria, Castle Soul. One of these days I'll change that tag to just Soul. One of these days, but that's not today. All right, chat. So with that, I think we're going to end it here. It's finally, after so long, we will be finishing up and posting the final thesis regarding conifers, and that I never, ever, ever want to have to take another shot of conifers again. Fuck those trees. They are absolutely god-awful. And then, like I said, we got a lot of other stuff we can work on. Now that astrologers is kind of set, it can act as kind of like my my nexus, if you will, between working on stuff surrounding it, concerning, of course, like I said, fire giants, Nox, some other stuff we can work on in the future, of course, like say the Zamor and stuff, which I think will be folded into fire giants. Add to America's Crime, Night Sky Light Pollution. That's a good one. Anyway, so much of what we're going to be working on, though, is probably going to be ancient history. As I said before, maybe I'll like feel the urge and I'll be like, you know what? I want to finally do Melania, or I want to do Moog. You know, like one of those two maybe in the future. But until I really get that scratch where I really want to start doing a deep dive on one of those two, I think it's mostly going to be the ancient history stuff, which is good. Because of course there's a lot to talk about there, and the more we get that out of the way, I think the more like big incidents like that, the more we can then like just look at what's left over and be like, oh, okay, now we can work on like Ancient Civ and Ancient Dynasty a little easier maybe, or work on Hornsent. In fact, I gotta promised Smotown I would have stuff set for him on Hornsent this week, so that'll probably be helping me on the weekend to work on. I come to these streams for Arbor discourse. No more Arbor. Alrighty, yeah, so I don't know what's going to be probably next for the screenshot stuff on ER, but like I said, there's so many other games on my backlog to get through, so I'd like to return to those maybe. So we'll just have to see and figure things out. Until then, guys, later. Smell ya later.